So in this video, I'm going to give you 3 quick tips on how to present yourself well on webcam.
The next question is...
You're full of questions.
The 3 quick tips are audio, lighting, and framing. Now, the bad news is that the first 2 tips involve spending money, but I have solutions for you if you can't spend money. The third tip is something that won't cost you a penny. So let's start off with tip number 1, audio.
This interview is over.
Audio is very, very important. Most people think that they need to get good video and they worry less about their audio. Well, they're wrong, because there's a saying in the world of audio video production that goes along the lines of, you can rescue bad looking video with good sounding audio, but you can never rescue bad sounding audio with good looking video. Audio is the most important thing. Problem is that if you rely either on your webcam or laptop microphone, your audio may not be great, and that's for 2 reasons. First, the microphone that manufacturers put into laptops tends to be cheap and poor quality, and the second problem, which is actually the bigger problem, is the microphone on your laptop is too far away from you. So should you sit with your face right up close to your webcam? Well, that might freak people out a bit, so I wouldn't recommend that. No, the solution is to get an external microphone. That's so you can get something a bit better quality, but more importantly, you can position it closer to you. And yeah, it's going to cost you some money, but you can get quite cheap ones off Amazon or eBay that sound pretty okay. A lavalier microphone is a good option. Or you can buy yourself a USB microphone like this one. This is called the Blue Yeti. So a microphone is a good investment. They tend to last a long time. They don't really go out of date. Today, the microphone that's most used in high-end TV production and film production is the Sennheiser MKH416. And that microphone is from the 1970s. So it's lasted pretty well, but it costs $1,000 Australian dollars. But what if you can't afford to buy an external microphone, even a cheap one? Well, there's still something you can do to make your audio sound better, and that's to do a bit of sound treatment on your room. Let me explain. If you're in a room with lots of hard surfaces, your voice will echo around the room. So in your bathroom, in your kitchen, in a hallway, you might notice that your voice will sound a little yuck because the sound is bouncing off of the hard surfaces in the room. Just try walking around your home, speaking out loud, and listen to how your voice sounds more echoey in some rooms more than in others. So you want to be in a room that has less echo, and that means a room that's got lots of soft surfaces. So carpets, curtains, sofas, rugs on the floor, and so on. Actually helps if you can just throw a few blankets or duvets around the room. It'll all help to cancel out the echoes from those hard surfaces, and that will help your audio. And remember, turn off anything that's making a noise in the background, so things like air conditioners, ceiling fans, and so on. The other thing you can do is to check your audio levels in the software you're using. So if you're using Zoom, you can check your audio levels via Zoom. You can test your microphone to check that it's loud enough, not too loud, not too quiet. And there's also a load of settings in Zoom you can turn on and off in the audio panel under the settings in Zoom. So you can remove echo, you can use some background noise cancellation. So I'd experiment a bit and see if you can improve your sound through the software. And the final thing is to make sure you've got a stable internet connection. Bad internet can lead to bad audio. So you've fixed your audio. Now let's fix your video.
I am certain I fulfill the requisite quantitative and qualitative criteria.
Lighting. Cameras need light, and the smaller the camera, the more light it needs. And cameras like webcams, which are tiny, need a lot of light, but it has to be the right sort of light. And there are two key principles here that you need to think about when it comes to lighting. They are brightness and softness. It's the main reason why webcams look crap, because they need a lot of light. Most people don't give them a lot of light. So if I didn't have my video light on, it would look a little bit naff. So you need to give them lots and lots of light. They drink up light, especially the small little webcams. That's why people have large video lights, like this one up here. The more light you have available, the better quality video you're going to be outputting. And you need a bright light. The sun is ideal, but is unpredictable. Room lights are generally not bright enough. So the solution, if you can afford it, is to get a video light. And you can get some pretty decent ones pretty cheap these days. But again, it's an expense. So what if you can't afford a video light? Well, you can get yourself a mega bright bulb, which is a lot cheaper. So you could get one of these light bulbs. They cost around about 20 Australian dollars. You know, I'm not sure what it is in other currencies, but they're reasonably cheap. Stick that in a lamp holder, position it in front of you, preferably just above your head height, and then you're pretty well sorted. Generally, you should avoid having bright lights behind you, because that will turn you into a silhouette. If you have a bright light behind you, you need a brighter light in front of you lighting up your face. So I've got a brightish background. I've got the daylight out behind me there. So if I turn off my light, I go a bit into a silhouette. So that's why I need a big, powerful light on me, so that I don't turn into a silhouette with the light behind. You know what I mean. Anyway, why put the light above head height? Well, that's because we're most used to seeing people in daylight with the sun on them, and the sun being their main light source. And the sun is kind of up there during the daytime, at least. And so then you get that look where the light is coming down on someone. But there's a problem here. And the problem is using bright lights when you have a bright light from a small or a singular source, like a bulb, light bulb, or even from the sun. It's just a single source of light. And the problem you get is that the light is quite harsh, and you get harsh shadows on your face, which is not a good look unless you want to have that chiseled, menacing look. So if you don't want the chiseled, menacing look, you need to fix that by softening the light. And a soft light makes for a more pleasing image, and it's more flattering to the face, and it's just generally easier on the eye and looks more relaxed. This is why you see those big boxes on video lights. They're called soft boxes. You can see the reflection of mine in the window there. I've got this big soft box in front of my video light. So what they do is they diffuse or soften the light. Same as why most of us put a lampshade over a bulb in our room, to soften the light and make the room feel a bit more relaxed, rather than make it feel like we're in an interrogation. It's kind of, what you're doing is you're putting the sun behind a nice white fluffy cloud to soften the light. One cheap way to soften your light is to stick a piece of baking paper in front of the light, and that works as a diffuser, and it works pretty well. It softens the light, and because it's baking paper, it won't catch fire, which is always a bonus. So you made your sound better, you sorted out your lighting for your video. My final quick tip is about video again, and this one is about framing.
You are a horrible dinner guest.
You want to make sure that your webcam is at eye level, just like here. If you have it lower than eye level, then that's known as the sort of subservient look. the viewer will feel subservient to you because you're looking down on them. If you have your webcam higher up, this is the dominant look, and it will make your viewer feel dominant over you. Generally, you want to avoid making the person looking at you feel subservient or dominant, and you want them to feel an equal to you, which is why you keep it at eye level. Don't put your laptop on your lap because it will make you look like a tyrant. And position yourself so you're sitting either in the middle of the frame or to 1/3 of the frame. On one, let me explain. This is called the rule of thirds. So imagine your screen divided up with 2 horizontal lines and 2 vertical lines, and your eyes should be somewhere on that top horizontal. Somewhere, I'm looking at my monitor now just to check I was framed okay. Yeah, I was framed pretty good. So on that top horizontal line is where your eye line, move down a bit, there we go, where your eyes should be roughly. And either you're in the middle, somewhere in here, in the middle of the frame, or on that one of those horizontal lines that are going down. So I'm on the 1/3 of the frame. This is useful if you've got stuff to show. Point in the right direction, Paul. Stuff to show on the other side, like captions and things. But generally, this is seen as a good look. It's a familiar look. It's one that most people are comfortable with. And if you have the top of your torso in shot, so from just about here up, it's a good shot. People are familiar with it, they're comfortable with it, and you won't look odd at all. And then there's backgrounds. People have gone a bit crazy with using virtual backgrounds, and you can do that in Zoom. You can blur the background or superimpose another image back there. It's called a green screen effect, but green screen effects are not easy to create. First off, you really need a green screen. I've got a little mini green screen over here that kind of works with the webcam. So you need one of them to make it look good, but you also need a good camera. Webcams can kind of do this okay, but if you're using a webcam, you have to use good lighting as well. And you also need a fast computer because it's processing the video live and it's doing all of this magic trickery to the green screen. So you need a reasonably powerful computer to do that. If you don't have any of that stuff, or you don't have all of that stuff, my advice would be not to use virtual backgrounds. Again, in the world of video producers, people in video production, they're appalled by virtual backgrounds. They think it's the worst thing ever. It makes them violently sick when they see people using these virtual backgrounds. And it's because they're distracting. And backgrounds are meant to stay in the background. They're not supposed to take attention away from you. So what should your background look like? If you're not going to use a virtual background, you're just going to have whatever's behind you. What should it look like? What's the best background? Well, the best backgrounds are ones that convey a sense of depth. So you don't want to look as though you literally got your back against the wall. But if you are up against a wall, like I'm up against a sort of wall here, it's not that far away from me. It's a good idea, if you can, to use a bit of atmospheric lighting. I've got to try to get Google to turn this on now. Hold on. Okay, turn on my grey lamp. Okay, turn on my grey lamp. I might have to turn this light off. just to see if I can get this. Okay, so I've got a little RGB light there, and I'm going to turn the other one on. There we go. I should be sitting over here a bit, actually, shouldn't I? So you can put RGB lighting on the background if you are up against the wall. I could actually put some lights over there as well. That can make it a little bit more pleasing. Oops. Nice, what am I doing? Can't multitask. So that's one trick you can use. But keep it subtle. What you don't want, you don't want to take the attention away from you. So you don't want too much attention put onto your background. General principle is that backgrounds should stay in the background. You know, it shouldn't become the audience's main focus of attention. Okay, let's wrap it up. So those were my 3 tips for looking good on a webcam. It was audio, it was lighting, and framing. Okay, so that's all for me for now. Till next time, ta-da.